Missing someone. Missing someone. Missing someone. With all your heart. Missing someone. With heart. How much you miss it. And you miss it. And you miss it. And you miss it. And you did it right from the start. And you did it right from the start. Missing some.
What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in and clicking on this video. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. We're either right about to hit with 1,000 subscribers or we are this close away. This has been a long time goal of mine. 1K baby, 1K. Can't believe that we got 10K on Instagram and 1K on YouTube, you know, pretty close to each other. So huge accomplishment, huge goal of mine. Finally can get monetized hopefully for some of these videos, and hopefully put this money back into the channel with some camera gear and a tripod. But thank you for clicking on this video. As you can see by the title and thumbnail, we're doing the top 3 things that I do not like about my F80 M3. Again, this is a 2017 competition model, and we are going to dive right into the list. Everybody seemed to like the list that we made last week with the top 5, so I had to make a dislike video. I'm actually filming on my DSLR right now, so it doesn't have auto stabilization, but I'm trying my best to hold my hands as still as possible. Let me know what you think in the comments below about the quality. Like I said, I'm gonna definitely upgrade my camera setup when, you know, we move into a house and I can finally start buying car parts and car mods and stuff for the YouTube channel again. I definitely want to keep cranking out videos for you guys. Again, hitting 1,000 subscribers is just like a huge milestone for me, and I'm super stoked. And I just want to keep putting out more content because YouTube is fun, editing is fun, so definitely want to keep it going. Like the title and thumbnail says, we're going to dive into the top 3, for the autofocus, top 3 things that I do not like about my 2017 F80 M3. Number 1 thing I dislike about my M3 is the notorious crank hub failure. Alright, so for those of you who don't know, the crank hub is right here, and basically what happens is when the car is under a lot of load, it has more chances of overspinning, and that can lead to an engine failure. It leads to a blown engine basically. It's more prone on tuned cars because more horsepower, more boost, puts more load on the engine of course. It's more prone on DCT cars as well because the car is auto downshifting for you. So, in manual cars you control that, but in these DCT cars it's auto downshifting for you, and then it mistimes sometimes, and which causes it to spin. So everybody knows the kryptonite for these S55s, these amazing engines, are the crank hub. And I personally will not be tuning or getting downpiped until I get my crank hub fixed. So that's for peace of mind. I've known people actually recently, and I've also seen, you know, plenty on the forums and Facebook of people spinning their crank hub. And I don't have 15,000 to be dishing out on a rebuilt engine. That's worst case scenario, but still, I mean, if you buy one of these cars with this engine, you gotta budget for the crank hub eventually. If not, you're just running a risk. I mean, I've seen people stage 2 full bolt on, you know, pushing, you know, 5-something horsepower on their stock hub, but I mean, that's a risk I don't know if I'm willing to run. People on the forums and Facebook have run the stock crank hub with upgraded turbos, upgraded fueling and meth, you know, 700 horsepower, and they're selling their stock hub with 80,000 miles on it. But again, personally, I'm not gonna run that risk. I don't feel comfortable running that risk, and I don't really want to anyway. So that's my personal choice. Like I said in the previous video, I'm gonna get my equal length mid pipe eventually, and then I'll probably be saving up for the crank hub. The crank hub is not cheap. That's probably the biggest reason people don't do it. It's about $3,200, $3,400 in Orlando. That's the going rate, labor, parts. Because they have to take out basically everything in your engine, drop it. They got to drill into your crankshaft, I think, and that's really sketchy, and that takes, you know, someone who knows what they're doing. So a lot of time and labor. They got to flush the engine out of the oil, and it's a bunch of stuff. So I would definitely go to a trusted shop around here. So that is going to happen this year probably sometime. I mean, I don't have extra money like that just to throw around on my car, so, especially when we're looking for houses and trying to buy a house right now. But that'll come down the road. I definitely drive moderately, so I'm putting myself less at risk. I work from home, so I haven't been driving my car that much this year, or this past year, so I feel pretty confident about that. And I'm not racing anybody either. I'm going to the grocery store, I'm getting gas, I'm going, taking my dogs places, you know, I'm racing everyone on the streets like Fast and Furious. But yeah, I want to do the crank hub this year, 100%, so I can have that peace of mind, and then I can get into tuning and downpipes, open up the sound more, and then obviously just have that peace of mind knowing that, you know, my engine's not going to fail on me, or I'm not going to have to buy a rebuilt engine for 15 to 20K. Alright, moving on to number 2. I definitely need a wide angle lens because this is so close. So number 2 on the list is when you turn the car on, it doesn't start with your M1 button or your M2 button. When you start the car, it doesn't save what mode you were in, so it doesn't start in M1, which is my quiet mode, and then M2 I have set up for my exhaust open and in Sport Plus mode. So that's another thing that bothered me when I first got my car. Obviously I'm used to it now, so I'll give you guys the run through. I start my car, I press start stop of course with the foot on the brake. But as you can see here on the dash, let me refocus for you. And for some reason it puts it in efficient, sport, and sport steering. So that's the efficient driving mode, so that's valves closed. Sport suspension and sport steering, which is in the middle of like stiffness of the steering wheel. So I think that's kind of weird, those settings. I have my M1 button set up as, I'll show you right here. I have it as efficient, comfort, and sport, so similar, but I wish it would save in the M1 position, you know, when I turn my car off. It would make it a lot easier sometimes. Or even in my M2 buttons, which is, you know, sport, sport, sport. But yeah, it's one thing that's kind of annoying, but it doesn't bother me that much. Every F80 owner gets used to it. I mean, they start their cars and put it in M1 like right away. I'll show you guys what I do every time I start my car actually. So let me turn my car off real quick. Alright, so I'll show you what I do. I put my car in accessory mode, my finger's over there. Get everything on. And then I push M1 over here. As you can see, M1 appears. And then I'll go over here and open up the valves to sport mode. And then I'll put my foot on the gas a little bit just to make sure the valves are opening. And as you can see right there, it says sport. And then that's when I turn my car on, and I'll know my valves are open every time. So yeah, that's what I do to know that my valves are open. In the morning, the cold starts are super loud, but I think they could be louder. Equal length mid pipe will definitely do that. So the number 2 things I don't like about my car, and I guess F80s in general, is that it doesn't start in your safe settings. Again, this is like nitpicking. I really don't have that many things I don't like about my car besides the crank hub. But yeah, this is number 2. Moving on to the last and final thing that I do not like about my car. Again, I can only come up with 3 because there's only one real thing that I don't like about my car, and that's the crank hub. But number 2 and 3 kind of go hand in hand. Like I said before, I don't like how my car doesn't start up in, you know, my safe settings. But number 3 has to be the DCT in this car is a little jerky. I mean, everybody knows about that on the forums. I know that the DCT for these cars are super jerky. It's not smooth in certain gears, and I had to learn that out when I got my car, of course. But when I first got my car, I would, you know, just drive it, put my foot on the pedal like a normal car, like my F30, and then I noticed like it would be super jerky, like back and forth like a horse, like a bucking horse in first and second gear. And then I finally realized that you have to feather the gas, you know, ever so slightly, so you smoothly roll into first gear. So if you're at a stoplight and you know, not slam the gas, but you give it a good amount of gas, your car is most likely going to jerk back and forth. I mean, I've learned, and every owner learns, that you have to feather the gas just enough and ease into first and then give it some power, and then it'll go into second, and same with second gear as well sometimes. You especially feel this issue when you're in manual mode and you have to shift with the paddles or the gear selector, but you can feel it a little bit when you're in, you know, auto mode as well. It's annoying, but like, again, as you say, like after the first week of driving this car and learning how their DCT works and DCT feels, you really get the hang of it and the jerkiness goes away. But I remember my girlfriend drove my car one time and she hated it. It was super jerky for her, and then she didn't like that, of course, and she didn't like that there was no Prindle. There's no park button in our cars. So alright, but that's going to wrap up this list of the top 3 things that I do not like about my car. Again, I was nitpicking at the last 2. The real and only problem for this car is the crank hub, so everybody knows about that. I can't believe we're about to hit 1,000 subscribers, or we already have. By the time this videos come out, it's going to be pretty close. But I want to thank you guys for watching. We're going to try to crank out some videos in the next coming weeks. Again, wish us luck for our house. Hopefully we will be filming content in a new garage. But again, thank you guys for watching. I can't believe I have 1,000 subscribers. I think a year ago I had maybe 200 or 300, if that, maybe 100. So anything's possible. It's actually crazy to think about that I have 1,000, or I'm about to have 1,000 subscribers. So a huge goal of mine accomplished. We're only going to keep going up from here. Hopefully, you know, after this house thing is squared away, we can upgrade the camera gear, get a new vlog camera, a new tripod, so we can get more content out for you guys, and more quality content out for that matter. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.